Thanks so much for tuning in to another Front Porch Conversation here at Advent Christian Village. We're on the front porch today at the Copeland Community Center, and as always, we'll probably have a concert from the Birds this morning. Nice and cool yet this morning, and that's a plus. I'd like to introduce to you our guest today, Janet Stevens. Janet, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And it's good to be here on the porch rocking, isn't it?
Oh, yes, yes.
Janet, I believe you live off campus. You're a member from off campus.
I am.
Would you tell us where you live?
Yeah, I live in the old Harper House on 100th Street.
And for those of you who don't know, John Harper and his wife Cindy lived here many years, and he was a pastor at the village church. But the custom is here that it's always somebody else's house, and it takes you a long time for it to be your house.
Yep.
I believe when you moved here, you moved here with your father?
Yes, I did.
And what was his name?
Gerald Stevens. They called him Jerry.
Uh-huh.
And, we moved in 2016.
And then he's since passed away, is that correct?
Yes, he died in 2018. He fell and broke the femur bone in 2 places, and he went through the operation well, but he had AFib and it took him.
And I understand you knew about the village quite a long time before you moved here?
I did.
Right. Tell us about that.
My dad sat on their Eastern Regional Board, and he also sat on the board here. So when I said, Dad, I'm going to retire and we're going to move to Florida, he was tickled pink because he was waiting to reunite with all his friends that he hasn't seen in a while. And he said, okay. So one of the things we did, we cleaned out the house. We sold a house in Connecticut, and I said, Dad, are you ready to move to Florida? He ran up the stairs. He said, I'm ready. I said, let's go. And we got in the car and took off.
Were you born in Connecticut?
I was born at Hartford Hospital in Hartford, Connecticut, but I lived in East Hartford the majority of my life with my mom and dad, Dorothy Stevens and Gerald Stevens. I was born in an Advent Christian home my whole life. A lot of the ministers down here we recognize and know. And my sister and I moved together down here. They said, well, if Grampy and Dad are moving to Florida, so are we. So we all moved together.
And they live a little ways from here.
6 miles from me. Yep. Yeah, we see each other every day. We do family things together, and I have a swimming pool, and they come over and swim with me. We go to Dunkin' Donuts in Connecticut. There's a Dunkin' Donuts on every corner.
You have to go a little further here, right?
I do. I do.
And where is the nearest Dunkin' Donuts?
Live Oak.
Oh, at the Busy Bee?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Not trying to give them an ad, but I want everybody to know if they didn't know where the Dunkin' Donut was, how to get there. When you tell us a little bit about growing up.
Well, as I said, I grew up in an Advent Christian home, so we went to church in Hartford, Connecticut. It was a beautiful church, had a lot of wooden beams in it, and had a lot of pastors there, Mr. and Mrs. Adams and Mr. and Mrs. Tibbetts, Mr. and Mrs. Wrigley, Dwight, I forgot Dwight's name, and Lou Going. And after Hartford got a little rough, we moved and built a church in Windsor, Connecticut. And that's where I was before we came down to Florida.
I can help you with his last name now, Dwight Dean.
Yes, thank you.
He's also been a member of our board of directors
Yes.
here for a number of years.
Yes.
And his father and mother lived outside the village
Yes.
as well as members.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of ties.
There are a lot of ties. Yes.
And for somebody who didn't grow up in the Advent Christian denomination, I just find it fascinating that y'all have somehow managed to keep touch with each other throughout, all those years.
Yes.
It's the same in my denomination, which is the Episcopal Church, but not quite as prevalent.
Yeah.
But I'm happy to be a part of this community too.
Oh, me too. Me too.
What were your you went to high school and from there?
I went to high school and East Hartford High School, and then I went to Manchester Community College and got an associate degree in criminology. and I didn't want to go on. And so I went to work at Pratt & Whitney Aircraft, who make jet engines for aircraft. And then 5 years I worked for them. Then I moved to the corporate office in Hartford, United Technologies Corporation, who is now Raytheon Technologies. And I was able to retire from there after 38 and a half years. And they asked me if I would stay on so I could train somebody to do my job. I was the only one that did the job. And I said, sure, no more than 2 years though. And they said, okay. So I did, and I retired. I left Cushman and Wakefield, who's I went to after United Technologies to train somebody. And that's
What was your job?
I worked in telecommunications, and I took care of the telephone system for the corporate headquarters. I made the phones work for each individual. Whatever their needs were, whatever their jobs were, I was able to do that. I enjoyed everybody there. I enjoyed my time there. But I'm enjoying ACV too, very
ACV
much.
time.
Yeah, yes.
When you were actually where they made jet engines, did you work in the construction of the jet engines?
No, I did not. My dad did. My dad was a divisional superintendent in the factory, and actually he worked his way up from working in the factory himself, and then he worked his way up to divisional superintendent when he retired. I worked in telecommunications. I worked as an operator and a telegraph operator. So we would send out telegrams, aircraft on ground, or worldwide. About wherever our aircraft were, telegrams went out. And that was a good job. I enjoyed it.
You know, when we think about how technology has changed, I guess we still do have telegrams, right?
Kind of, yep.
I can't remember. I might have been in college the last time I got a telegram.
Yep. They're old Western Union machines, and we type away, and it came out on like a ticker tape. Then we run the ticker tape through. And I remember when we had a problem with a Western Union machine, Western Union would come in with his screwdriver and fix that machine.
So we've all seen a lot of changes in technology.
Yes, we have.
Living in quarantine times right now, have you done anything new with technology?
No, I enjoy being outside, so I work in the yard. That's one of my favorite things, or swim in the pool. Technology is not a thought anymore.
Okay, good. It's time for another phase of life.
Another phase of life, yeah.
You mentioned liking to be in your yard. Do you grow vegetables or plants?
The first year I was here, I grew a big vegetable garden, but I went back to Connecticut in June to celebrate my dad's 90th birthday, and we took a tour of New England, went to different family greetings and birthday parties, and my garden kind of suffered when I wasn't here. So after that, I said, you know what, I'm going to put a pool in. I said, I think I'll enjoy that, and we do. I've not put a garden in yet.
Well, I just started my first garden at the Village Garden, and I was pretty late in starting it. And my son and his family in Michigan planted their garden last week. This garden here will be over pretty soon because of the heat.
Yes.
Such a difference in climate. I bet that was a big change for you in gardening.
Oh, yes. The soil. We have a lot of lime here. I mean, we have dirt in Connecticut, but the soil is different, and when do you plant what? You know, it's just all of a sudden, 2 weeks of winter, and all of a sudden it's hot. So it's a learning experience.
I understand that you've gotten involved with the membership association.
Yes, I have. I got a call while I was visiting in Connecticut, and they said, would you do it? I said, no. I said, I've never done something like that. And I said, you know what? I want to meet people, and that would probably be a good way to meet people. So I accepted. And I enjoy the committee members. They're just sweet, sweet people. And I'm enjoying it. I don't know if I'm doing a good job or not, because it's a learning experience for me, but I'm glad I accepted.
And you're serving in which office or position?
Secretary. Yes.
Well, and I talked to Jim Rainsberger recently, the president, he said it's kind of hard to know how we're doing right now without meeting, and hopefully we'll be able to have meetings.
Yeah, I miss that. I miss the routine of getting together and seeing what we can do to help the people at the village.
Has anything surprised you about moving here, as far as the village is concerned?
No, well, yes. I fell in love with it. I came here for my dad, but I fell in love with it. I love the people here. I love the Christian fellowship. It's changed my life a lot. And it's beautiful. I mean, they keep it up so beautiful too. I enjoy every day here.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
I've interviewed one of your relatives recently, who is a fairly new member, Phyllis Rand.
Yes.
And then next week I'm interviewing her sister, which is also your cousin,
Yep.
right? Linda Russell and her
Yes.
husband Dick.
Yep.
So it's kind of like a family reunion.
We are so blessed to have family here because they came from northern Maine and we came from Connecticut and we all ended up here. And my sister's here too. Like I said, she came down with us as a package. So we are, it's nothing like having family around you.
Do you have hobbies?
I like to work outside. I help my sister. She put in a big flower garden, and I can sit out there and watch those flowers grow by the hour. And I enjoy driving. I take some people to different places here every week, and it's just you get to know people that way.
You do.
And it's just something I enjoy.
Well, and I'm sure for many people it's a blessing that you can drive them places.
Yeah.
A lot of members here aren't driving any longer.
Right.
And what have you liked about moving to this area, other than the things we've talked about?
Well, my dad and I would wake up in the morning and we would open the door and we would either both say it or one of us would say, "Another beautiful day in Florida." And we would go out and we would explore Florida, our new state, and we'd just get in the car and go, and I never got lost because he didn't get lost. And we just would go all over the place. And even now, with my dad gone, my sister and I and family members will go to all different places just to explore Florida to see what we have. And my latest place was in Chipley, Florida, to where the wolves are. You can walk with the wolves, and we were all just so excited about that, and we had such a great day, a full day, and we're waiting for more family members to come and visit, and we're going to bring them down there.
And are the wolves, you just walk right next to them, or are they enclosed in some way?
Well, we're all enclosed in a fence area, so they can't just wander. But yeah, they'll come up and they'll kiss you, and they'll sit right there and you can pet them. It's amazing. Their fur is just so thick. And we have pictures. They take pictures. They don't allow cameras in there.
Oh.
And they take the pictures, and then you can buy the pictures. And every one of them came out so good. My sister Linda, Amity, my nephew's wife, and Jacob and I were there. And every picture has a smile.
I've heard about that. I'd actually forgotten. I'm glad you reminded me.
Yeah, highly recommend it.
About how long does it take to get there?
About 3 hours. It's down by Panama Beach.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So it's a little ride, but it's just well worth it.
Well, and particularly if you drive along the coast, it's a beautiful ride.
Yes it is, yeah. Of course, we went after the Michael, so the destruction was still there, but even that, in a way, is beautiful to see what has happened and how Florida and its people have corrected it. It's a big difference already now.
Good. Well, I'm looking forward to doing some of those driving trips too. Where else do you recommend our viewers?
Well, we want to go down, and I'm not sure where it is, but there's a sponge boat.
Oh, in Tarpon Springs?
Yes, we want to go down there. We haven't made it there yet. We've gone down to Ocala. We've gone to the see-through boat, glass bottom boat. and we've gone to different parks. We're on the go all the time.
That's great.
Yeah,
Well, I highly recommend going to Tarpon Springs.
good.
They have a number of, you can go down on the wharf, and there are a number of different cruises that will take you out. The birding along there is beautiful, and the ones I've been on, I've been a couple of times in the last 5 or 6 years, but you go out to this little island, the boat lets you off, you can wander around for maybe 45 minutes, pick up shells, just,
Beautiful.
experience. Yeah.
Yes, we've been on down to Pensacola and Destin, Florida. We've been out on the dolphin boat ride and just enjoying the outdoors. You can do that so long in Connecticut, and then you have to hunker down in the house and wait for the weather to come back. But yeah, we love it.
Were you here during the summer last year?
I was, yeah.
So this, for some people I've talked to, this will be their first summer. That even though they lived here a while, they've gone north for the summer.
I go north in the summer. I don't go up in the winter. They send pictures of the snow to me, and I think they're gorgeous. But I'm not going to have to drive in it or shovel it.
Would you describe a time in your life that you felt really changed by something that happened?
Moving down here. Being brought up in a Christian family doesn't always make you the best person. And I've had my life working. I worked hard. I was the only one doing the job, so I was on call all the time. And when I came down here, and my dad was so happy. And my sister and family's happy down here too. And I love the people here and the ministers. And I renewed my life to the Lord and Savior. So it's a big change in my life now, and I'm happy.
Wonderful. What a testimony. Thank you for sharing that. You have nieces and nephews?
I do. I have my sister has 3 boys, Jacob, Cody, and Nikki. And my other sister, who's in Massachusetts in a assisted living home, has a daughter, Dee, and a son, Jerry. Dee is in Massachusetts also. Jerry is here in Florida.
If you could give those young people advice, what would you tell them?
Don't wait so long. Enjoy the walk with the Lord.
It can be a great journey.
Yes.
When one of the other things you talked about is you do have 2 boys that live with you.
I do. They're my precious boys.
Tell us about them.
I have Max, he's 2.5 years old, and I have Shadow, who is 1 year old, and they were both abandoned dogs, puppies when I got them. Max is now about 65 pounds, and Shadow, the baby, is about 75 pounds. 2 big dogs, and I put a fence around the yard so they can go out and run and play, and they come up on the pool with us on the deck, and I take them out to Burger King all the time and get a hamburger for them. I spoil them terribly.
Are they good riding companions?
Max is an excellent riding companion. Shadow is still learning not to walk from the front to the back and back to the front, but he's learning, and if he can be as good as Max, I'd be very happy.
And are they a mixed breed?
They're mixed breeds. Max is definitely looks like a little pit, but he got floppy ears though, and he's a tricolor. He's beautiful, and he's turned into a little gentleman, even though if you walk by my house, he probably wouldn't sound it. And Shadow is a retriever mix, and he may have Dane in him, Great Dane in him. He's got long legs, a long body, but both are very kind, and they love their mother.
Good. As boys should.
As boys should.
Do they like to swim?
No, surprisingly, no. Max doesn't want anything to do with the pool. And Shadow, when he was a pup, we brought him into the pool because we're afraid if he jumps in the pool, we want to know if he can get out the ladder. Mm-hmm. So we brought him in, let him climb out. Brought him in, let him climb out. But now he's not coming in. And it's okay, because I don't want my liner to be ripped.
Oh, that's an important
Yes.
Yes. When you think about the things you'd like to do still in the future, what goals or plans do you have?
Well, I want to become more available to the people here. I enjoy helping, and I want to keep enjoying Florida and telling my family to move down. It's a beautiful place, and a lot of my family up in Connecticut are brought up in the Advent Christian Church too, and they go to different churches. And my cousin Pat Sylvester or Pat Williams wants to come down here someday, but not right yet.
Prior to the quarantine time, have you been able to meet a lot of members through the membership association?
I have met a lot of people, and Judy and Bill Willard are from Connecticut, so we tend to do things together. And of course my family is here, and Gloria Williams I bring to get her hair done every Friday. We have a nice talk on the ride to the hairdresser and back. And Ray Penny, I share time with him as we go to dialysis for him. And I just wave at I sit on my deck and I wave at everybody that goes by. And I invite anyone that wants to come over and swim to please come in. The pool is wonderful right now.
I bet.
Yes.
And do you maintain the pool yourself?
I do, and I've never had a pool, so it's a big learning experience. But I'm learning.
One thing I do remember when we had a pool is that rain really affects it.
Yes.
Can change overnight.
The temperature, yeah. Oh,
and
big
just
time.
the whole chemistry.
Oh, yes, it does. Yep. You're constantly checking the water and cleaning it, vacuuming it, get the bugs out. You know, ants can swim in the pool and they can bite you when you're in there.
I did not.
Yeah, they do. So if you see an ant in the pool, he's not dead. He's swimming.
He's paddling.
He's paddling. Yes. Yes. So they can bite you, and that can hurt.
I'm sure it can. What other creatures of nature have you met?
Well, we've been up to St. Augustine, and we went to a wildlife park where there's a bunch of gators in there, and I forgot about that. And every place we go, we are so fortunate to see Florida's nature, whatever it may be at that part. And turtles, a bunch of turtles here.
Yes.
And I had one get caught in my fence. I had to go out and pick him up and get him out. He didn't know how to get back out. He kept walking back and forth. So that was pretty funny. And he couldn't figure his way out, but he could get in. And I don't know. I just I love living here.
Have you been to Crystal River?
No, I have not.
It's down on the Gulf, not too far south of Cedar Key.
Okay.
And a great time to go there is in the winter because the manatees come in.
Yes.
And you can go into near springs where they are, and they're just and they actually have boats that take you out, and you can go swim with the manatees if you want.
Oh yes, yes. Oh, I would love to. I haven't been to the Keys either. We did see 3 manatees at the Glass Bottom Boat area in Ocala.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, we tried to time it because my cousin was down, and she's also a photographer, and she got some great pictures.
Well, I think that you should have your own show about what to see in Florida as a newcomer.
We're trying. We're exploring.
Have you been to the Lakeland area?
I don't believe.
Between Tampa and Orlando?
I've been to Orlando. I went to the. I've not been to Lakeland, no.
Well, that's another place I would suggest.
Okay.
They have beautiful lakes there, and their downtown area is really pretty. One of their claims to fame is they have swans in the lakes.
Whoa, beautiful.
I think of all the other animals for you to see.
Yes.
But I also sound like a tour guide too. But the campus of Florida Southern College is there, and it has the largest collection of Frank Lloyd Wright buildings.
Oh wow! Wow.
And they're just incredible.
Yeah.
So if you're interested in architecture,
Construction,
it's a beautiful on a beautiful setting too on the lake.
Yeah, thank you, appreciate
And
that.
particularly their chapel is just amazing.
We went to Orlando, to the holy place,
Holy Land.
Holy Land experience. That was really nice. And one of our next, as a family, cousins included, we'd like to go to Kentucky to the Ark. And I said, oh, well, I thought that was in Pennsylvania. I thought we could get there in one day. So we looked it up, and it's only 12 hours from here. And so that's only half a day. We have 24 hours. We can get there quickly. And I think I'm the only one they agreed upon that.
They did. Well, I got to go last summer.
Oh,
and it was quite an experience, yes. So I hope you do get to make that trip.
Thank you, I hope so.
And doing it with family, which I did, was a special time.
Yes, yes. Thank you.
Well, I guess we'll end our travel log from here.
Okay.
But invite you back another time to tell us what else you've seen. But I'm fascinated. Thank you for reminding me about the wolves.
Oh, you gotta go. It's just wonderful, wonderful, and it's all day experience. And they also have other animals too. You can see that you can walk in with, and some you can't. But it's just great.
Well, it's off to the wolves for me,
All right.
and back to the pool for you.
Back to the pool for me.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
And I hope all of you will tune in again to watch another Front Porch Conversation. Thank you.